What's good, Commanders fans? It's been a while since I made a video, but the draft is almost here, man. The draft is almost here. So the Commanders just started off-season workouts. Yesterday was the first day. I was just so busy, didn't have time to make a video, but I will be on Juan Gotti's channel tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun at 9 o'clock, probably for an hour, chopping it up about the off-season and the draft. So it should be a lot of fun. Make sure you guys sub up to Juan Gotti. Talking Sports, that's my guy. Great Washington Commanders YouTube. You guys are, a lot of you guys already know who he is, of course. So the big thing with the workouts yesterday was that Chase Young was there. Basically every beat reporter made a tweet saying that Chase Young is in attendance per source. And of course, you saw the pictures with him working out without a knee brace. That was the big thing too, that he didn't have a knee brace on. He did wear the knee brace against the Niners and the Browns. Basically the last 2 or 3 games of the season that he did play. And he basically has no choice but to be there. Talking about the 5th-year option, Ron Rivera hasn't really been an endorsing, or he hasn't sound, encouraging or enthusiastic about giving Chase Young the 5th-year option. He basically wants him to earn it, comparing him to Daron Payne, even though they did pick up Daron Payne's 5th-year option. And this is not a good thing that we're talking about our second pick of the draft, who is supposed to be a generational talent, whether or not we're going to pick up the 5th-year option. Now, he did have the injury in 2021, but even before that, he wasn't playing well, kind of running past the quarterback. The game against the Bills, we saw that, kind of chasing for sacks, not getting pressure on the quarterback. Kind of had the yips too. Remember against Matt Ryan, he like forearmed him instead of sacking him. So 2021 was just an off year for Chase Young, and then the injury then took him a while to come back because it was more than just the ACL injury. So it's a huge year for Chase, man. He doesn't have time for Family Feud. And he's still doing endorsements, which is good. New Balance, and signed with Clutch Sports. He signed with New Balance, which is awesome. Get his money. I'm all for that for sure. But, he can't miss workouts for an Under Armour commercial or Family Feud like he did a couple years ago. And I'm a big Chase Young fan, so this is a huge, huge year for him. So, we definitely need him to get to the quarterback and be impactful and dominate like he did his rookie season, where he was forcing fumbles, getting to the quarterback with 2 sacks in his rookie game, his first game against the Eagles, getting a lot of pressures, forced fumbles against the Panthers, the scoop and score against the Niners. That's the Chase Young that we need to see this year. And would I pick up the 5th-year option? Yeah, I would. And I'm happy to see him at workouts as a captain, as a leader of the team as well. So this is phase 1. They're basically just lifting weights, pushing sleds, doing the rope drills. You see Cam Curl pictures of him and John Allen, and Daron Payne, and Sam Howell, of course, with his hair all over the place. You see all pictures, Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin having a good time catching footballs. Brian Robinson working hard with the rope. All the guys are back in town, so it was good to see all the guys wearing black. One picture that stood out to me was Cole Turner, man, because I forgot about Cole Turner. And there was one report as well from Nikki Zavala. She said that Montez Sweat was, what's the tweet? Montez Sweat did not go to the team's voluntary workout this morning, not related to contract, but he did go to team meetings. But she was told, but he did go to the team meeting and will be in position meetings per sources. Also, Jeremy Reed's got a contract, so I'm happy for him. That was good news. But yeah, it's Cole Turner, man. Just the whole tight end room, the tight end group. I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of the group, and I know Ron Rivera said he likes his guys, but that's one person I'm really keeping my eyes on this season, man, because he didn't play much last season. We didn't really get the ball to the tight end much. But honestly, the tight end group wasn't great either, So quarterback play, I know Taylor Heineke, he wasn't, throwing the ball over the field much. There was a couple games where he had a couple good games, but for the most part, he threw it to Terry, Jahan, or Curtis. We just didn't really get the tight ends involved as much. And I think Sam Howell definitely could use tight end help. Eric Bieniemy with the Chiefs, they used Travis Kelce a whole lot, of course. And I think Cole Turner's just talented, man. And Ron said he likes his guys. Logan Thomas is getting older. I think Cole Turner just has the higher upside at this moment, and catch radius, of course, and in the red zone. We didn't do well in the red zone, so I want to see Cole Turner be used in the red zone. So just this picture of Cole Turner really stood out to me, honestly. I had high hopes on him. I know he got injured. He had a really good training camp. They got injured in training camp. Missed most of the preseason, but this is it's an important year for Cole Turner to me. I was really intrigued, and he had 10 touchdowns in Nevada his senior year. It was a good red zone target. He had that dog and talked a lot of trash. I want to see what Cole Turner can do, man. I want to see what he can do. Armani Rogers, talented, but we just have a lot of unproven guys. We have a lot of transitional guys, quarterbacks moving to tight ends and stuff like that. So we have a lot of transitional guys moving positions and whatnot at the tight end. A lot of experiments at the tight end position. I just think Cole Turner really has the talent, the upside to be really good, in my opinion. So let's move on to some of the top 30 visits here. I guess I'll talk about Brian Davis because everybody saw about him too. Brian Davis, he didn't know. Of course, he went to Duke. I talked about him earlier. He played basketball with Christian Laettner, was on a couple of the really good teams at Duke. I'm not a Duke fan at all. I can't stand Duke. I'm a Maryland Terps fan. Of course, I'm a Georgetown fan, so I can't stand Duke at all. He is from the area. He's from the DMV. I think he went to Bladensburg High School. Did play against his high school, dropped buckets against them. Cooked them in the playoffs as well when I was in high school. Bladensburg High School. But neither here nor there. No, Brian Davis, Sean Merriman spoke about him, and he's the guy that Brian Davis is allegedly putting in a $7 billion bid for the Commanders. And that, I don't know if that's the holdup with everything with Josh Harris getting it. But Brian Davis, he's just had a sketchy background. Scottie Pippen has sued him. Sean Merriman on Twitter is vocal about, Brian Davis owes him $4 million. He sued him and he won the settlement against Brian Davis. And Brian Davis still hasn't paid him for what he owes, So Brian Davis just has sketchy background. Like I said, with the real estate thing, this is the article with him and Christian Laettner, owing people money, swindling people out of $6.5 million. They executed a $9 million promissory note on behalf of BBDV the third from an entity controlled by Christian Laettner. That note is referred to in a complaint as the Laettner note. So him and Christian Laettner, man, they've had some bad business deals done that have fell through, and they've been sued a lot and taken to court. So Darren Haynes from CBS or WSA, I've had him on Locked On Wizards as a guest. He's the one that's been pushing the story of Brian Davis putting in that offer. The Junkies put out the news about that as well a couple weeks ago, or about a month ago. And it's just not going to happen. I mean, they're not going to let Brian Davis in there with his bad history, especially after Dan Snyder, all the bad history of Dan Snyder and the ticket fraud and ticket sales. So you would definitely be concerned. Dan Snyder was doing ticket fraud. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Davis, if he got the job or got the team, he'd probably do something like that as well. So I just wouldn't be surprised at all. So Josh Harris is going to get it. People talk about rebranding and changing the name. I'm not for that, honestly. I mean, I'm not the biggest Commanders name fan, but I've just gotten used to it. I just want to talk about football. I just hope it's not a whole ordeal like it was last time when they changed the name. Just, if they're going to change the name, just go ahead and change the name. I really couldn't care less. All right, so let's move on to top 30 visits. So they got a couple guys coming in today. Hendon Hooker's supposed to come in today. I talked about him, the Tennessee quarterback. Jertavius Quan Martin, the cornerback out of Illinois. I like him a lot. He can play slot. He can play outside. He can play safety. Hendon Hooker, of course, he's an older quarterback. He's 25, but he went to Tennessee. Had a really good year. Watched the Bama game where he put the team on his back. Him and Jayla Hyatt were a good duo. He has a good arm. Very mobile, dual threat quarterback. Kind of looked like Geno Smith this last year for the Seattle Seahawks. That's what he reminds me of. Pretty athletic, not super athletic, but he's athletic. He's very mobile. Ran for a couple first downs and threw some big touchdowns and some big throws against Bama when they beat Bama in that epic game. I want to say with the overtime. It was in the 50s, and Hendon Hooker basically threw the game-winning touchdown. So I like Hendon Hooker a lot. You could complain about the gimmicky offense that Tennessee runs, but Hendon Hooker, he's a talented quarterback, man. He's got some good head on his shoulders. You listen to him talk. Smart, sounds like a leader when he talks. So I can see why Ron Rivera is intrigued with Hendon Hooker, but he's going to get drafted in the first round. So I don't see him making it out of the first round, and the Commanders really drafting him. Now, the person they brought in today, Anton Harrison, the left tackle out of Oklahoma. You look at some of his PFF grades. He had 447 pass block snaps and only allowed 1 sack in 2022. 0 quarterback hits allowed. 83.3 pass block grade as well. He had the second fastest 40 time out of all offensive linemen with a 4.98 40-yard dash, which is super, super athletic. Anton Harrison had an 83.6 pass blocking grade since 2020, which is second among Big 12 tackles as well. Now, his grade is about a late first, early second round grade. You look at his draft profile on the write-up about him. He is 6'4", 315 pounds. He is from Washington, D.C. as well. Went to Archbishop Carroll High School. The strengths of his hands remain punch ready and protection. Patient not to overset or overextend at the top of the rush. Fires his hands with some pepper on them. Finds full arm extension to maintain feel for rusher. Will find work when uncovered. Instinctive in his positional run blocking as well. Weaknesses: has trouble locating initial hands in the run game. Average foot shot with elevated pads as drive blocker. Now, he's really good in the pass protection. Does need help in run blocking, but he's really his strength is in pass blocking. So he could come in at left tackle. Now, if you do draft him in the first round, what are you going to do with Charles Leno? Are you going to cut him and start Anton Harrison? Now, Charles Leno, remember, he got cut by the Bears, and the Bears started Tevin Jenkins. So that could happen, but Anton Harrison, is he a reach? Are you going to trade back and get him? Maybe in the early second round. I could see something like that happening. But at 16, it may be a little too high. But I'm intrigued by Anton Harrison. I'm intrigued. I really am. Another guy, sleeper that they bought in is Myles Murphy out of Clemson, defensive end. I haven't looked at him yet, but he did have 6.5 sacks last year, 7 sacks the year before, and ran a 4.5 40-yard dash. So he's super athletic, man. Some people compare him to Trayvon Walker. His pro day numbers, the combine numbers were similar to Trayvon Walker, the defensive end from last year. So those are some intriguing guys. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think about everything in the workouts and Chase Young. Big year for him, man. I'm rooting for him. I really am. And some of the prospects that they brought in as well. So you guys will see me tomorrow night on Juan Gotti's channel. Hail to Commanders. Peace.